Hello, my name is Mandy from Mandy Sorts It Out, and I'm going to do a declutter video today. I've noticed that some people are watching my videos, and that's making me a little bit nervous. But I'm not sure why, really, because obviously it's something I thought was likely to happen. Otherwise, I wouldn't be putting them on YouTube. But I didn't really think people would spot them for a while, and maybe even never. I don't know what I thought, really. Reality is a little bit different to expectation. I'm pleased people are watching them. I notice they're not really watching these clutter videos as much, so I feel less stressed about doing these clutter videos. I feel like I can get away with them. Really. Today we're doing a catch up with regard to the clutter that I'm trying to get rehomed. And I've got a bit of a correction to make, or rather, I suppose, an addition, because when I was looking at my great-great-uncle's medals, I discovered that this medal is called a 1914 star, and it's awarded to people who served abroad, either in France or Belgium, between August and November 1914. So now I know my great-great-uncle did go abroad, not just for the 12 days he went in 1915, but also prior to that in 1914. And if there's a clasp on it, which this one has, and interestingly, it's on the little ribbon that they wear when they're not wearing their medals. They wear this little ribbon, and it's the same colours, you'll see, as the ribbons on the medals. So people know from those colours what medals the person's got, even without the medals. If they've got the clasp on the 1914 medal, they have this little rosette on this ribbon. And he has got that. And that little clasp is to indicate that during his time abroad in 1914, he was under fire. If you went abroad but didn't go under fire, you didn't get the clasp. But my great-great-uncle has got the clasp, so he was under fire. So I felt I should correct that, because I said I thought he'd only gone abroad for 12 days in 1915. I haven't heard anything yet from the Imperial War Museum, and maybe I won't. As I said, I've tried twice before to contact them about whether or not they would want these medals and the other bits that are from my great-great-uncle's war experience. The razor and the matchbox holder, anything like that, his badges. But I've not heard anything back, so I don't know quite what I'm going to do. But until I've catalogued everything, it's not a priority. So I shall just put everything aside for the time being until everything's catalogued. Oh, and this, which was in with the medals, is actually his hat badge. So it would have clipped onto his cap. And it's silver, I think, because there's a hallmark on it. Oh, I was showing it upside down. Excuse me. So that's the London Rifle Brigade cap badge. I'm not sure if I said that last time. So I have gone through another tub, and it was actually really quite good, because I found some of my stuff in there, and it was stuff I'd forgotten that I had, and it was stuff I was delighted to find. It wasn't stuff I'd lost, it was stuff I'd completely forgotten I'd been given, and there were things that were memories of other people, so it was lovely to see them again. I also have some of my granny's cousins, mother's sisters' certificates for violin, for some exams I think the equivalent of sort of O-levels, a certificate of honour at the Mary Datchler Girls' School. I don't know if that's, I'm sure it doesn't still exist. But that was run by the Masters of the Cloth Workers Company and dated 1904. I'll have to look into whether or not that would be interesting to someone. I've got some of the little bits and bobs that I got from my granny's cousin. I was given to remember her. Those were nice to find. I found a Beryl Cook picture and I didn't know I had it. I've always liked Beryl Cook, and my mum once gave me a birthday card from Beryl Cook and I framed it. But this is an actual Beryl Cook print. I imagine it's a print. I don't think it's a painting. I have a feeling my mum got it and probably paid a fortune for it and probably wondered why I never had it displayed. I wonder if I ever did have it displayed. Anyway, I don't remember, but I was quite shocked to find it and a bit emotional, really, because that's the sort of thing my mum would have done, and yeah, it just caught me unawares, really. I also found a 1949 Bible that had been given to my father by his grandparents in 1949. When he was born in 42, so he was 7, and I think that's when his father died. I think his father died when he was 7. So and this is his father's parents who gave him this Bible, and he gave it to me when I became religious for a brief period when I was around 10. So that would be in 1974. I found some champagne corks with 50p's, they'd been slit open and 50p's stuck in them. And my father had given me those at the christenings of both of my sons. I'd forgotten about those. I feel like I'm holding them for my sons. My father died in 2001 at the age of 59. He was unfortunately killed. My youngest son was 2, so he has no memory of my father at all. My older son was 4 and was very distraught at the time, but I don't know that he has any memories of my father at all. So these don't mean as much to them, perhaps because of that reason, although they've probably seen photographs of my father. But to be honest, photographs were too painful to have up for a while. So I think that's something I need to address with my sons. And it's good to have this, think about that, yeah, I was very distressed talking about my father for quite some time because his death was very sudden, obviously, and such a shock. And it took me a long time to be able to talk about it. And I think then we probably got out the habit of it, talking about him with my sons. But I'd like to pass on memories. So yeah, that's something I think that this little trawl through this tub has reminded me is something that needs doing. And it's not going to go on the catalogue, but it is going to go in my to-do list, which I have here. So I shall just put that in. It's a shame that someone who was in my heart isn't really in my kids' hearts. But you just deal with things the best way you can at the time, don't you? I've got the height chart that we used with both my kids growing up. It was a Peter Rabbit height chart and a roll-up one, and it's lovely to have it, actually. I know that a lot of people use doorways, and you can't take those with you when you move. So it's really lovely to have this scroll, which has got their heights on it. Again, that's something that'd be nice to bring out when they're both here. And I found some family history records as well. I've got other family history records, so I need to sort of condense all those together. And I found 4 group photos of soldiers. You know, the really long rolls that when you stretch out, they're a really long rectangular shape. I really do suspect that my great uncle worked in training camps, training people, training soldiers. So I think these are their graduation sort of photos. I don't know what you call a graduation from the army. And then I found some of my graduation photos. I did my degree with the Open University. I finished the degree in 2016. And I didn't go to the graduation ceremony that the Open University was offering because I didn't know any other students. Yes, I found all those things. Some of them were mine, some of them I was happy to see. And I did think that going through these tubs was going to be dispiriting, upsetting, frustrating, and hard work. And actually, the majority of that was just fun and pleasant and rewarding. And I thought, well, I've been putting this off, expecting it to be horrible. And it wasn't at all horrible. It was really rather lovely. So I've got a lot more good feeling about doing the next one, but I won't be able to do one for a while because I have a friend coming to stay. I'll get to one eventually. One of the photos I was going through in the photos video was of Dawlish, or at least Google Lens said it was Dawlish. And I found a Dawlish History Society that had an email address, contacted them, said, is this Dawlish? And would you like the photo? And the answer came back, yes. So I have sent them the Dawlish photo. So that's another thing that's been rehomed. A tiny little photo, but I'm pleased about that. Every time I get something rehomed, I think that Angela would be happy, and that makes me happy to think of that. Oh yes, there were some notes I found in the book, in the tub as well. Notes that my children had written to me when they were children, telling me how much they love me. Oh, lovely. Thank you very much for watching my video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.